Rahul Shah also joins us. Rahul, good morning. Thank you for joining us. What are you telling your clients? Time to book profits? Time to stay invested? What's the house advice?
Hi, good morning. I think obviously we're not asking clients to book profit, but we stay invested. I think we're seeing different themes coming up on in the markets, and there's just been sector rotations from one sector to another. So I think stay invested. PSU is the theme which we've been also been since last couple of months. We've been also been participating, and we've been also advising clients. So I think stay invested. Looks like that the earnings season also has fared well. So looks like that markets continue to erode well. Just before a good move, I think is just in a range right now, but I think there could be some more still upside from here.
There is a buy on Zomato, nothing new, but this is a buy which is coming from the house of CLSA, and they have a new, not bull case, now they have a new base case target of 227. I think 2021 the stock had plunged to 35 rupees. That time everyone said that it will go to 25. Now, I mean, almost like a zero has got added. Let's actually look at Zomato. 2021, I distinctly remember it had gone to sub 40 rupees. That's 52-week change for you. Wow, I mean, like a bazooka, man. Real bazooka. 2021, there you go. It had come down to sub 40 rupees. Wow. So 40 becoming 150, almost like a 4x from the low. Rahul, do you believe in the CLSA's outlook? They think that after 150% upside in last 1 year, it can give you another 45% in next 2 years. Zomato. Rahul.
So I think what happens is if you look at it, I think the last 2-3 quarters have been very robust for Zomato. If you look at this quarter also, so I think every quarter and quarter post the numbers have been delivered. I think on the street, most of the houses have been revising their targets upward side. So be as you rightly pointed out, at 40, it was at, I think sub 40 levels, and then I think 60 levels. A lot of guys initiated their coverage and so on and on. And I think if you look at this quarter numbers, you look at delivery business, if you look at Blinkit, both things have done well. So I think 15-20% upside. Most of the thesis says that. So I think the sales is much more bullish on the stock. So I think. Should be. I think it's a structural for next 3-4 years story for the Zomato. It's not on just a 1 year or so. So I think I'm surely believe that in this story that I think it could still go to 20 years of odd levels.
What would you say, Rahul, is a structural story for next 2 or 3 years?
Sorry?
What else do you think could be a 2 to 3 year structural story?
So I think one is obviously if you look at I think Blinkit, which was leading, which is the back into the business and which we see in this quarter, also the numbers have been very strong. Second, I think as I mentioned, I think delivery business will keep on going higher and higher. So I think
What
and
else apart from Zomato could be a structural story for you, not specifically for Zomato? Mine is Zomato. What else could be a 2 3 year structural bet?
So I think obviously one thing which we are looking in the markets is obviously the PSU pack. So I think after a long time, those stocks have just and the valuations are just getting re-rated. So I think if I look at it, I think PSU banks, we've been bullish in last quite some time. So I feel that next 2-3 years, I think after a long time, I think if we see most of the large PSU banks or small PSU banks, they have been able to maintain the earnings momentum, be it Canara Bank or be it the Bank of Maharashtra or so on, small or any of the small banks like Jammu and Kashmir banks or so on and so on. So if what the management says and if they'll continue to deliver, I think they'll still get re-rated. So that's what is happening in last couple of months. We are seeing that privates are not performing and PSUs because of the beats in most of the thing, they are just getting it. So I think if they continue to deliver, I think next 2-3 years, I think PSU as a theme, but I think the banks could do much better from here, and I think could be a good driver for the investors.
Rahul, morning. Wonder what you're making of this source-based news from ET now that Vedanta is in talks, the promoters with GQG for a potential stake sale. How do you believe this would weave into the story?
So I think if you look at, let's look at one simple thing. Wherever the GQG has put their money, I think the most of the stocks have fared very well. Obviously, the Mr. Market has also done well, but I think most of the stocks, wherever they put money, be it be Adani or be it be JSW or so on and on, I think they have done well. So I think obviously the question about the Vedantas, I think what happens if they get it into it. So I think obviously the stocks in a near term should do well. rest, obviously the businesses and overall will take care of it. But I think near term, I think the stock can do well because of this story.
Fair enough. You know, we were actually debating earlier this morning when it comes to some of the heavyweights within the banking space. And yes, while SBI's weightage stands at a meager 10% as compared to HDFC Bank's weightage, given the spate of underperformance from HDFC, the fact that a lot of fundamentals have been stacking up in favor of SBI, do you think that SBI being an outperformer really drives confidence it could do perhaps what HDFC Bank couldn't?
So I think let's not compare them together. But what I feel is that SBI, yes, I think as I mentioned also that I think all PSU banks have started getting their things back into the momentum. So I think if I look at the earnings visibility, second, whatever the management has said, they have been delivering into it. Thirdly, I think most important, I think the credit cost for the SBI is going to remain strong, remain in what they have been management has guided for. So I think this quarter, obviously the NIMs were a little bit lower, but I think what the management says that going forward it will be better. So I think entire all pack, I think SBI obviously with the subsidiary plus the core book, if I look at it, still I think FY26, if I look at it, it's at 1.2 time book. So I think still upside from here. Secondly, vis-a-vis, if I have to compare with HDFC Bank, so I think so it's no apple to apple, but I think there's a lot of value in HDFC Bank as well. So I feel that if you're catching an alpha for near term, short term, 2-3 months, 6 months, then yes, I think State Bank can do well. But if you have 1-2 year story or maybe beyond that, then I think HDFC Bank could be there. I think again the valuations are very, very compelling for the HDFC Bank core business. If I look at it, 12 times earning plus the subsidiary valuation at this 1400 level, sub levels. So I think risk versus reward is quite favorable for HDFC Bank. I think near term I have no clue, but I think if I talk about a year and so, I think the investor definitely will be rewarded in HDFC Bank from current levels.
HPCL, BPCL.
So I think, as you mentioned, I think so last 2-3 quarters, if I look at it, the numbers have been great. So if I look at last year versus this year, last year 2 quarters losses and then recovery in last 2 quarters, and then again this year last 2 quarters back to back has been good. So I think this quarter numbers were slightly below what we were estimating or Street was estimating. So I think obviously one thing is that I think the valuation is the only one which I feel that the markets are chasing, and obviously the GRMs have moved up for this company. So I think obviously the most of the part has been already done in this company. So I think again risk from here, risk versus reward, I don't think so. It's much more favorable from here. Maybe in a correction or a dip, one should look at it both the companies.
That's the take coming in on BPCL.